Astana is the heart of Eurasia, which is set to host Future Energy Universal Exhibition in 2017. For 3 months, the Kazakh capital city will turn into a center of attraction for millions of tourists. Over 100 states and leading companies will display their latest developments in green technology and demonstrate their achievements here. South Korea is acknowledged as the leader in this sphere. The country hosted World Exhibition twice, the last of which was held in Yeosu in 2012. The exhibition's theme was the living ocean and coast, with attendance of over 8 million people. The country, which has an advanced economy and a large tourism industry, has gained considerable impetus for further development. The ancient and rich history of the state has always attracted tourists. Moreover, one of the largest provinces, Gyeongsangbuk-do, is famous for its cultural and historical heritage. And most of the sites are included on the list of UNESCO World Heritage. Many of them are located in Angdong, making it the best place to start a journey to explore Korean culture, as almost every object has its own legend.
Андон қаласындағы мынау әсем ағаш көпір.
One of the main attractions of Andong is Wolyeongyo, which is the longest wooden bridge in Korea. This bridge has become a symbol of the sublime love of the spouses that lived in the middle of the Joseon era. The bridge was constructed in the shape of a traditional Korean footwear called chipshin, woven from the wife's hair for her sick husband.
Тарихи жәдігермен тікелей байланысты екен.
In fact, the legend was real. Historical artifacts were discovered at the end of the last century during the construction of residential buildings, in particular the mummy of a man, a chipshem, and a letter in which the wife describes her feelings to the husband.
안동의 대표적인 스토리가 하나가 있는데요.
It was found that the mummy belongs to her spouse. Koreans have believed that a sick person will recover if he wears shoes knitted from hair of a loving person. Unfortunately, it did not help and her husband passed away. The woman wrote in a letter addressed to her son about the love and that she did everything to help his father recover, and now that she is willing, her husband's work is to be continued by the son. Now the mummy and the letter are stored in the State Museum.
거기 안에 이제 미라와 함께 발견되었던 것이 바로 집시인이 있는데요.
The bridge is 387 meters long and 3.5 meters wide and hangs above the Nakdong River and connects 2 districts of the city. Currently, it is a place of worship for lovers. Koreans believe that if a couple walks along the bridge, then a beautiful and bright feeling will arouse between them. People can enjoy picturesque scenery and fresh air as the octagonal gazebo is placed in the center of the bridge. Nearly 800,000 tourists visit the site every year. The bridge is incredibly beautiful in the moonlight. There is Hahae folk village from the Joseon dynasty located not far from Andong. The settlement is located in a beautiful area. It has kept its unique architectural style traditions, folklore, valuable books, and is an important part of Korean culture. Many historical sites entered the Register of Basic National Values of Korea. The UNESCO included the village onto the World Heritage List. The name Hahae means round river village, since the river embraces 3 sides of the village. On the backside is the natural barrier, the Paktu mountain, which was inhabited by gods, according to Korean beliefs. This area has become the center of Confucianism. The great Confucian scholars lived and worked here, including Ru Song-ryong, the first chief state counselor of the Joseon dynasty. At the time, the counselor played a major role in foreign policy. He was the first disciple of one of the 5 sages who lived then in the East. In general, only 98 buildings out of 300 have been preserved until now, including his parents' house. Nearly 200 people live in the museum in the open air. Some of them are engaged in agriculture, others have opened cafes and hotels for tourists. Among them are direct descendants of Ru Song-ryong, 73-year-old Liu Yong-il is the 13th generation descendant of Ru Song-ryong. He organizes excursions for tourists and keeps a hotel. Despite the age, Mr. Liu Yong-il mastered the latest technology, quickly learned how to use the internet, and created a website for the village. Furthermore, one of the narrow streets in the Haehao leads to the tree, a compass that represents a powerful combination of three trunks. It is about 630 years old. They say it fulfills dreams, so many tourists write their wishes on paper and leave them on the tree. You can see a variety of wooden masks and figurines while walking around Haehao. They have magical power and protect the village from the demons. Nowadays, tourists purchase the masks as a talisman. The complete range of them is displayed in the Museum of Masks, which opened in 1995. It has a collection of 800 masks from 50 countries. There's also a satirical presentation mocking certain layers of society and situations called talchum, which means mask dance. All roles are dumb and performed exclusively by men.
가장 중요한 것이 문화적입니다. 문화서 그런 실거로.
Of course, the most important thing is culture. We are part of a Gyeongsangbuk-do province and its history. Both Koreans and Kazakhs are descendants of the Huns, as evidenced by numerous studies. And thanks to the Silk Road, we exchange culture, tradition, manufacture, and trade between our countries. We hope that our cultural and economic ties will expand in the future.
물물 교류가 좀 이루어져야 되는데 거기 가장 선결되는 문제가 문화입니다. 문화.
Korean historic sites also include Anapji Pond in Gyeongju National Park. Gyeongju is one of the main tourist centers and is the second most visited city in South Korea after Seoul. Over 5 million tourists come here every day. On day and night in the heat and rain, thousands of visitors rush to see the artificial lake built in the year 674 during the reign of the 30th king of Silla Munmu. There were 26 palaces around the pond at one time, but none of them remained. The stories do not have descriptions of them, but some remains of the buildings have been found in a pond. Then tourist gazebos have been built in their place. 3 artificial islands and the surrounding hills are planted with rare trees and flowers and populated with exotic animals and birds. The pond was designed to visually resemble the sea. More than 1,000 stones were imported from the sea coast for that purpose. Only nobles could visit this place. They were boating around as evidenced by a wooden boat found on the bottom of the 6-meter deep pond. The life of Koreans has always depended on the water, therefore they pay special attention to the sea and its coast. In the west it is the Yellow Sea, but the Koreans call it the West Sea, and in the east is the Japanese Sea or the Eastern Sea. And there's also the Southern Sea in the south. There you can find plenty of aquariums. One of them is located in Uljin County. Its theme is Road to Sea Palaces. The aquarium is considered the 7th largest in Korea. There are about 5,000 fish of 120 different species. All of them live around Korea in the East Sea. Among them are 20 marine predators. The length of the largest shark is almost 2 meters, and the most popular is a fur seal named Monsiri, aged over 50 years. It is listed in the Red Book.
Ульжин аквариумында балықтар күніне 2 рет, таңертең және кешкісін қоректендіріледі. Бұл үшін күніне
Fish in Uljin Aquarium are fed twice a day with 50 kilometers of herring, squid, and shrimp. The necessary amount of food is calculated from the fish's weight. Fortunately, the staff was instructed to allow us to feed the fish by hand after taking into account that we've come from far to see the aquarium.
To be on staff of the aquarium, one needs to complete a special education program, 4 years plus a mandatory practice. The staff arrange entertainment performances for visitors twice a day. The big trained turtle has a lot of fans, and it does not mind to eat and dance with a diver. Recently, Korean soap operas have become very popular around the world. They show the audience the culture and the rich history of the state. Korean pop culture has spread over East Asia, the Middle East, and even Africa. One of the best historical series filmed here on the set of Mangyong Mountain Pass. Originally, it was designed for the filming of Goryeo-era dramas, but later Joseon-era scenery was recreated at the same place. It has the perfect conditions for filming historical television series: wilderness, presence of homes of notable and ordinary people, the streets, weapons and food warehouses. Everything is built in the style of the Middle Ages. Nothing extra will get into the camera lens. There are no modern buildings, power lines or even paved roads. The total area of the film set is 70,000 square meters, and $720,000 was allocated for its construction. Movies are made here almost continuously. The number of tourists is increasing every year. 15 years ago, this place was visited by 40,000 people. Now 5 million tourists arrive each year. Here, the visitors can delve into the atmosphere of past centuries, get a chance to feel like a king or a queen in a small replica of Gyeongsangbuk-do Palace.
Дәл қазір менің үстімде кәріс патшайымдары киген ұлттық киім хуаль отты киіп тұрмын. Ал мына бас киім гаче деп аталады екен.
Now I'm wearing a chwalot, traditional Korean queen's garment of the Joseon era. And this headdress is called gache. I did not know how the queens used to dress. For me, this is a very heavy outfit. Such sorts of headdresses weighed up to 3 to 5 kilograms. Now, if we look at the king's throne, it is very easy to tell the king's throne from the queen's seat. The king used to sit on the throne with the sun above it, and the queen's throne had the image of the moon atop. Well, I'd like to have a seat on the queen's throne.
Ай бейнеленген орынға жайғасқан. Дәл қазір менде осы патшайымның тағына отырып көргім келіп тұр.
A particular attitude maintained in Korea to the representatives of the ruling elite even after their death. One can find many burial mounds both in the vicinity of small settlements and in the city center while traveling around the country. Among them are ancient mounds of Taegai and Goryeo dynasties. Burials are a valuable material for studying the lifestyles of that time. Their peculiarity is that they are located in the hills close to the gods, as ancient people believed. It was difficult to build a mound in such conditions, so the construction had to be delayed up to a year, and the body was stored in a stone refrigerator. Archaeologists and scientists have found over 700 mounds. However, more than 99% of them were robbed because the kings were buried along with their entourage, wives, servants, utensils, weapons, clothing, and jewelry. One of the largest burials was discovered in 1977 with remains of 33 people between the ages of 8 to 50 years. Moreover, the most valuable artifacts found in the mounds are the crowns of the ancient kingdom of Gaya. There are only 10 such symbols of monarchical power in the world. One of them is in Afghanistan and the other in China. Every Buddhist is obliged to visit the Buddhist temples. Bulguksa Temple and its part Seokguram are very popular in Gyeongsangbuk-do province, representing a single complex and appearing on the UNESCO World Heritage List. The word Bulguksa can be translated as the land of the Buddha temple. It was built by the 35th ruler of Silla in the 8th century. Before getting into the world of Buddha, pilgrims undergo several stages of purification through water, passing numerous bridges. Then, a well-preserved stone staircase leads to the Bulguksa temple. The stairs are over 1200 years old. The interior of the monastery includes the pavilions and courtyards with galleries and 2 stone pagodas. A Sokka Mani Buddha sculpture in the main building is dusted with gold, as well as all the other Buddha statues. There are disciples on both sides of it. A huge stone Buddha statue is seated in the temple in Seokguram Cave. The Seokguram Grotto is located 745 meters above sea level at the level of 500 meters. Tourists pass the way to the cave on foot, enjoying the nature and fresh air. Finally, there are so many visitors that even the native animals are accustomed to the huge number of people. Despite its age, 1200 years, the statue of Buddha is well preserved. The artificially constructed grotto perfectly maintains the temperature, humidity, and lighting. Tourists are even forbidden to take pictures or video in order to protect the historical monument from excessive light. There are many more tourists on Buddha's birthday, which is April 8 in particular, because they are allowed to go behind a glass partition on that day only.
경상북도는 이제 대한민국에서
Gyeongsangbuk-do is the largest province in Korea. Every corner of it is rich with historical heritage. Many historical figures and rulers were born here. Nature is especially beautiful. There are mountains, rivers, and lakes here. The East Sea coast is particularly picturesque, so a number of tourists are usually present. For our part, we create all conditions for their comfortable stay.
무슨 철도, 그래서 조국 건대화를 했던 공단, 포항 철강공단, 구미 전자공단.
Koreans like to combine business with pleasure. Their business skills help not to miss an opportunity to attract visitors to local sightseeings. One of them is Kam Vainio Tunnel, which stores local persimmon wine. The wine was first produced in 2003. Its preparation took 10 years. Persimmon properties differ from the grapes, therefore the wine production process is much more difficult. The beverage should be kept at least 5 years to remove the bitter taste. People created the wine repository from the tunnel that served as the Underground Railroad a century ago. Stable cool air temperature of 15 degrees Celsius and useful ions energy are the features that attracted the entrepreneurs. After the construction, the once abandoned facilities became not only a great place to store the elite beverage, but also an interesting place for the tourists.
Құрма шарабының тоннеліне келушілер мұнда шараптың дәмін татып көруіне болады және оның тарихымен жан-жақты таныстырылады.
The visitors of the tunnel can try the persimmon wine and to learn more about its history. The tourists can also take the wine with them as a souvenir. They are allowed to pour the wine into the bottle.
Бөтелкені жақсылап тазалап аламыз. Бұдан кейін мынау құрылғыға әкеліп қойсақ болды.
First, they have to clean the bottle and then they put it on the special device which pours the wine inside the bottle. Now twist the lid into the bottle of the finished product. That's it, the wine is ready.
міне шарап дайын.
Over 300,000 bottles of the specific wine are produced every year. The persimmon wine, Korean Pride, was the main drink at the inauguration of the state leaders of Lee Myung-bak and Park Geun-hye. Apart from wishes, persimmon is used to prepare bread, cookies, candies, juice, can be frozen and dried, and the persimmon vinegar helps digestion and fights many diseases. Another tourist site, which was an old abandoned mine, is the bike trail in Mongmyong. While before this road was used by workers to carry coal, now tourists ride it all year long. To walk and lead a healthy lifestyle has become very fashionable in South Korea recently. While earlier, Gyeongsangbuk City by the Sea of Japan was popular for its unusual nature, now people come here specifically for hiking along the most famous road in the country called Blue Road. In 2015, this tourist site was recognized as the best brand among internet users. The total distance comprises 64 kilometers and is divided into 4 routes and can be completed in 21 hours. The tourists can get acquainted with interesting objects on the way, such as wind power stations, viewing platforms, Chompoma Lighthouse, a fishing and a seafood villages. Speaking of seafood, Koreans know a lot about seafood and include it in their daily ration. There is a wide variety of seafood in the local markets. The most valuable ones are the octopus, snails, and crabs. In addition, a crab is a symbol of Yeongdeok. It is served for the most honored guests at the table. Every year during the crab fishing season, they are sold directly from the boat, and the festival of King Crab starts in Yeongdeok. Yeongdeok is also known for its wind power complex built in 2005. The power and majesty of plans are impressive for their size.
Yeongdeok жел қуат станциясы осы міне.
This here is the wind power station of Yeongdeok City. Here you can see 24 giant mechanisms which are 80 meters long. That's how they generate 1,650 watts of energy per hour. More than 4,000 people consume clean energy obtained from the power of nature.
Табиғат күшімен өндірілген таза энергияны тұтына алады деген сөз.
Today, South Korea is one of the leading countries in the world and is ranked 13th by its gross domestic product. The country's agriculture and economics were lagging behind Nigeria and Papua New Guinea in the 1970s. Thanks to the wise policy of the first president Park Chung-hee and creation of the new Village Movement Academy, the Korean economic miracle has come true.
물론 새마을 운동이 한국의 경이로운 경제 발전에 아주
The new village movement has an impact on the development of the Republic of Korea in the 21st century. Modern leaders prioritize reduction of poverty following the concept of the movement. A new plan for 2015 was developed in this regard. In addition, cooperation with the United Nations helps to spread the ideas of the movement. The program offers not only material aid, but also educational seminars in which we make people mentally more stable. Of course, our movement cannot solve all the problems of the economic crisis.
이러한 빈곤 퇴치의 모델로서 새마을 운동이 여러 국제기구와 개발도상국들로부터
Presently, when Korea stands firm on its feet, the campaign acquired a volunteer character. Representatives of the Academy share their experiences with poorly developed countries and help them organize their rural economies. The Academy has assisted such countries as Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Rwanda, Senegal, and Tanzania.
새마을운동 세계화 사업은 1970년대 한국의 발전을 이끌었던
The idea of creating a new village movement was born in Gyeongsangbuk-do province. Today we invite government officials, leaders, and students from developing countries as a part of this movement. Many volunteers left for Africa. They helped to sew, organize computer classes, hairdressing, and sewing courses. Our most successful project was implemented in Rwanda, where we constructed a plumbing system and built a reservoir.
우리 그 새마을 세계화 사업 중에서
The people called Park Chung-hee a little giant for turning the impoverished country into a developed state, although he was only 163 centimeters tall. He was born in the city of Gumi in 1917. Now the parental home of the president is a museum. Park Chung-hee's family was poor. He was the seventh child, but in spite of his humble origins, he won admission to the prestigious teaching school. The future president had lived in a small room for 20 years with a kitchen beside.
Мынау президент Пак Чон Хи 13 жасында анасымен бірге өз қолымен отырған.
Park Chung-hee planted this tree with his mother when he was 13 years old, has been giving fruits every season for more than 80 years. The museum staff collects persimmons and sends to his daughter, the current president, Park Geun-hye.
Пак Чон Хидің қызы, елдің қазіргі президенті Пак Кын Хеге жіберіп отырады екен.
During his reign, Park Chung-hee has attracted foreign investments from Japan and the United States. So in 1977, the first nuclear power plant was built in Busan with the support of the US. Later, 3 more stations were launched. Together, they produce 50% of the country's electrical power. Presently, the largest one is Hanul Nuclear Power Plant in Gyeongsangbuk-do province. Particular attention is paid to the safety of nuclear reactors that have 5 layers of protection. This nuclear power plant was resistant even to the earthquake in Japan. Korean experts say that the development of nuclear technology will allow them to run the 80 safest reactors by 2030. Furthermore, the construction of 4 reactors in the United Arab Emirates started since 2014. They also negotiated with Turkey, Indonesia, India, and China on the deal. Kazakhstan is also attractive for South Korea for its uranium reserves. In addition, negotiations are underway for the construction of a nuclear power plant in Kazakhstan.
근데 카자흐스탄은 원자
Kazakhstan is a big country with rich minerals and uranium reserves. We are always happy to cooperate. The sea coast is a perfect place to build a nuclear power plant. For example, Hanul NPP is located in such a place. Now almost half of the electricity is produced here. Safety and preservation of the natural environment are the most important things for us. Of course, there is a certain concern over the population, but our goal is not to lose confidence and to provide electrical power at full capacity.
선상에 카자흐스탄이 갖고 있는 국제적인 위상이 굉장히 크다.
IT technology is another industry that has glorified Korea in the eyes of the world. The country has had a strong lead in the high-tech market in the last few years. Local scientists officially presented their computers in the late 60s last century. The Korean televisions and cell phones flooded the world in the 21st century. Production of one of the famous brands began in the factory of electronics, and now they have an annual turnover of over $200 billion US. Korea's main competitors in the production of robotics are Japan, the USA, China, and Germany. In this competition, the main advantage Korea has is human resources. The state is not sparing any expense on the development of scientists. Over $134 million have been allocated from the state budget to support the innovations last year. In 2015, this number increased by almost $12 million. Now the country has 6 robotics institutes. One of them is in Pohang, and it has invented cheerful robots. Dancing robots or toy robots that attract children's attention, robots that do not let lonely people become bored, replacing a pet. At first, robots were limited in functions. Now, they make human life much easier. For example, the fish robot is indispensable in the study of the sea depths. Robots washers of high-rise buildings' windows are the most popular and a high-demand project of the company. The institute has developed and implemented the production of the robots that help in medicine, construction, and entertainment industries. The best development of the institute in the field of renewable energy sources will be displayed at Expo 2017 in Astana, which will be a center of learning and the implementation of best international practices in the search and creation of future energy.